You really will. All these laws that you're seeing now, about a year ago, we decided that
25 quid's laws
didn't
just
really want
weren't
to
the
get
way
into
to go.
this. Look, people can buy whatever laws they choose to buy, and what we noticed was that there was this big discrepancy between people that were buying their way in and people that knew what they were doing. And sadly, the people that knew what they were doing, that wanted to use a £5 or a £6 or a £7 law, were being frowned upon suddenly by people that could afford to spend £25 and £30 on laws. And we're saying, hold on a minute, we're catching 1,200 bass a year on a piece of broom handle. It's got some weight in it. Just because you can afford to spend £1,000 a year on laws doesn't make you a better angler than that guy there who can't afford to do it.
But it's not just that as well. We found as well that we do a lot of fishing. We can appreciate you guys because, well, we can and we can't, because you look at us and you go, Jesus Christ, keep going on about how many bass they catch. The main reason we catch a lot of bass is the fact that I live about from
Here to the field away?
yeah, you know, from that southeast coast. I live right at the Rock Harbour, so I literally get out my door, close it, 4 steps forward, down the driveway, and I've got 20 yards. I'm on that beach, and literally then it's just like I've got my wetsuit and I can chuck myself in the current and off I go, and I'm on bass immediately.
200 yards away.
On average, this last year I've not fished a great deal. I've had a lot of things going on, but normally I'd fish anywhere between 3 and 4 nights a week. So it's literally, I'll work full time, but it's literally get back, either go on the kayak, or it's like, okay, we can wait tonight because the low tide is at like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, so we need to be at the standpoint for 10 or half 9. 3/4 of an hour walk out there because it's literally a 2 mile, 2.5 mile. Fished till about 3 in the morning, come back, 2 hours sleep, up, go to work. Following day, do the same. Keith is unlucky in the fact that he's hurt his back, so he can't work a great deal. He looks after foster kids and adoptions. But because he lives so close to the water, he manages sometimes to fish twice a day, same as I do occasionally. I'll fish sometimes very early morning, then again late evening. So we have got that. This is why we've acquired quite a lot of skills over the years. Because 1, we've been fishing since we're 4 and 5 year old. 2, the amount of hours that we are able to put into it.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys, it's like, I've got a 3-hour drive to the coast.
But we couldn't believe it when we were talking to some of you last night, and we're like,
You've
you only fish like 5 times a year? We fish like 5 times the last 2 days.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for us to put ourselves in some of your shoes because, like I say, we just go. And we're there and it's easy, but it's easy is the wrong word, right? As we were saying before, when people come over to the Bass Festival, you've had 40 visitors that used to come 10 or 20 years ago that might have caught 6 or 7 fish. Now those same visitors, between 40 of them, might catch 3 between them. And it's so sad because we put all this information out on the internet and we say, if you want to come, you're more than welcome to come with us when we're fishing. And I'll give you an example because the last Bass Festival, me and Stephen, our South African guy who fishes with us, it was on the Saturday night. I remember it well. It was absolutely howling. It was horrible. It was about a force 6. We almost died on this night because we took the kayaks out, the wind swung round and we ended up dragging the kayaks up the side of Seymour Tower. It was bad. We didn't think we were going to make it back. But we did. And in the process we caught 40 bass, all between 5 and 9 pounds. And yet we caught more fish in that 3-hour window than had been caught in the whole of 48-hour Bass Festival, because we were in the right place at the right time. So to us it makes no sense that when you've got a couple of people that are sort of like saying, come and try this, you know, you might like it. They'd rather spend all the money to come to Jersey or to go wherever they want to go and
spend another 300 quid in the tackle shop.
And they'll go out in the day doing the same thing as what they did the year before, when we've categorically said to them, we're going to really struggle in the daylight. Yet every year they do the same thing, and if you do the same thing, you've got to expect the same results. So why not actually step outside of your comfort zone? We're not going to take people 3 miles offshore and expect them to like go on a survival training course, but we'd take them somewhere pretty good and do something at night. And we took one guy, didn't we, once? I can't remember, we had 9 or 13
I think he had 9.
On his first ever try, and he went back to all the guys at the pub where they'd all been staying and said, we did so well, we did like had all these fish. And the next day they all went out and did the same thing. I think they all blanked again. Yeah. And that to us, that makes absolutely no sense. And then I look around the room, as I was saying earlier, all this information that is here, readily available, we talk about it, it's all in our heads, it's all in your heads. Who are we going to pass it on to?
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier, it was like, oh, you know about the youngsters coming in.
We're all dying. We're all dying.
Who's in their 20s here?
Oh.
You're lying, you're 30. So about two people.
But the fact is,
the majority of
no
us.
matter how we try to build up the bass fishing, and no matter how we keep saying that, oh, lure fishing's coming to the fore and it's in the magazines.
Where are the kids?
Who's reading it? There's nobody coming through. Where's all this experience that just in this room alone? Where's all these thousands and thousands of hours of experience gonna go? Are we recording it? Not many people are recording it. In fact, it's going to be lost. Much the same as what happened with the freshwater scene. I was very, very lucky. When I was 4, I was introduced to freshwater fishing by my old man. He was active on the open circuit. By the time I was 10, I was having people like Ian Heaps and Ivan Marks and Kevin Ashurst. You've got to do this, you've got to do that. They would give me a hand-me-down rod, a hand-me-down reel. And then all this lot from Birmingham came and introduced the feeder and killed it all. I will never forgive them for that, because the skill level went right down, because suddenly people could just throw something in the river and wait and didn't have to learn any of the float skills. And then, now we've got all these people that fish for puddle pigs, and carp, sorry.
But it's the same scenario,
But
isn't it?
there's nothing wrong with
two,
the
three
carp.
rod, buzzer bars,
But they're
everything else
going
is
out
just...
and they're buying the complete package and walking out of the tackle shop and going and sitting on an artificially stocked pond, but they've all the experience and all the learning, all the enjoyment of learning how to arrive there, it's gone. No one's passing it on. I mean, how many of you take youngsters out? You know, or about 10%. And I mean, again, not blowing trumpets, we made a point about 3 years ago, and I'm very lucky actually, because one of the guys that helps us out is Monster Tackle in Jersey, really nice guy, Tom Newbold. And he comes to us and he says, look Keith, I know you're trying to help out these school kids. To him it's basically a tax write-off, so he doesn't have to do it. And he gives me rods and reels and lines and lures, and I arrange with the school and I get all the kids, take them on the field, teach them to cast. They love it, and girls especially seem to be far better than boys at learning to cast. And they go out, and just this last 2 or 3 years we've been, you know, the Japanese style of fishing I was talking about earlier, and we've been taking them out and teaching them all this, and I look back and I'm thinking, right, okay, that's about 200 kids I've taught. Even if only 10% of them, I feel like I've done my bit. And I think that's what we need to focus on, doing our bit before, you know, when none of us are getting any younger. And if the bass ever do get restored back to their former glory, who's going to be there to fish for them? So you can see, you know, we do get our fair share of fish. And I tried to select this slideshow based on
just different
the last sort of 3 years. I can't remember how many slides. I've had about 4,500 shots, which represents about. We've always said we blog around about 10 to 20% of what we actually do. So I tried to take 10% of that snapshot to sort of show you guys that.
I mean, between what 4 of us, we probably average. It's got to be about 60 hours of fishing per week.
More.
That we're on the water, yeah.
More, easily.
And it's not. It was very hard before. It was just me and Keith. And you go out and if you want to work a stretch of beach, it took you a long time to try and work a pattern out, which way the fish were running, what time they were leaving. But as soon as you got 4 people, you can spread out. You know, if you only we're going to blind fish it because we don't know a particular section. What we'll do is I'll stay here. Keith will go 15, 20 yards the other side of me. Dave the other side. Stephen. And what we'll do is we'll fan cast. Have about 6 casts each. Me, I will go the other side of the last person. Keith will then go the other side of me. So you can cover a mile of beach in literally 20 minutes, half an hour.
And this daisy chaining that we're talking about, it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4. And say we're covering a piece of water that we don't know, and we decide, right, we want to cover this 500 yards. 4 of us will line up, all fan cast. This guy will move to the end. That guy will move. That guy will move. And if it doesn't work on that side going in that direction, we'll start at that end and the next one and come back. if we need to work our way down a gully that we've never been down, and then we're thinking, right, we've got 3 minutes, and in 3 minutes the water's going to change height by sometimes this. You can be in.
What happens? It just comes over
It just
a bar.
comes over a bar and push, floods it, and that's it. Your history. So by having 4 or 5, sometimes we take Alan and we like push him out with a rod, and we're like, no, here you go.
But anyway, yeah. Going back a minute to Alan, what I was saying before, sorry, and we got sidetracked, was the main thing that me and Keith were doing was doing nothing. The main thing that Alan was doing
Was kept
was
switching his rod.
because it's like, Alan, will you leave your because he's so used to working top waters and jerk baits and God knows what else, he's doing this constantly. And the only fish he caught was all. I think we had that.
Yeah,
just
that
that
one and
one.
one a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and that was it. And it's constantly because he's just doing this all the time. You don't need it. Do nothing. Okay. If you only learn one thing, do nothing.
Let